Okay, teacher, hello. My name is Jesus. I'm going to present my final exam about uh, cultural adaptation and ethical boundaries. But what is the definition about the cultural adaptation? Is the process of modifying a product, text, idea, or suite of the cultural norms, value, and expectation of the different audience. It involves changing languages, imagery, reference, and even narrative element to make them more relatable and acceptable to the target culture. But it's important to mention about the localizations. It's just one step by not just translation languages, but it also adjusting other aspects such as humor, social custom, measurements, and even legal standard. Localization ensures that the products are easily feel like native to the new audience while maintaining its core intent. But definition of the ethical boundaries is like a clear, definite limit that the guide professional behavior, ensure that the ethical boundaries like individual act with integrity, fairness, respect, and responsibility. They protect the clients, the colleges, and the public from the harm and prevent conflicts of the interest, misconduct, and abuse of the power. But I would like to mention things about the cases where cultural changes cross ethical lines, because while the cultural adaptation is often necessary to their instant where changes compromise with integrity of the original work or reinforce about the harmful practice. And one of those is like a censorship. It's like altering or omitting important social issue. The second was the white versions, like erasing diverse character for broader appeal. Gender role changes is diminishing strong characters to the stereotypes. But I would like to give you some example of this because this, for example, in the search in literature and films, in some countries, the adaptations of the classic world, like picture of the kill of the monk Clipper is it remove or alter some discussion of racism to avoid this controversy, while this makes the text suffer for central audience. It's undermining it a fundamental message about the social injustice. In the second picture, it's about like a white Russian characters. It's like in Hollywood adaptation, character or diverse backgrounds are often replaces with the white actor to appeal to the center market. This erases reputation and distort the original work culture, like our authenticity. As seen is an adaptation, like this picture, like goals in the shell. And the last and the other example is like a female character within frustration market. But it's like alter the gender roles in adaptation for cultures with a stricter gender norm. A strong female character are sometimes rewritten to be like submissive or less independent, which compromises the story original feminist like themes. And then there are some debating like ethical implications. There's adaptation pros and adaptation contrast. Like, for example, in a favor of the adaptation, I like supporting argument that without adaptation, important works might never reach to or resonate with the global audience. Cultural references are real, and adaptation ensure broader access and understanding. For example, I like to mention a wider audience reach and cultural accessibility. And some adaptation contrast is like a dilution of the original meaning, cultural insurance, or ethical misrepresentation. Because the critical argue that over adaptation can dilute the critical message, reinforce like a stereotype or result in cultural erasure. Thus, the original context often holds essential ethics and historical significance, and changing if can mislead the audience. Ensure where the adaptation can break the gaps, excessive the changer risks misrepresenting of the main and the original meaning, thereby the respected above the creator and the culture represent this representative. And some recommendation for the balance about uh, to maintain the balance in this area is the first one, the respect the course, the message, because adaptation should maintain our, the spirit, intent, and essential themes of the original work, even if the certain surface details are changed. That's why they mentioned about the core has to be respect the message. And also the cultural expert is the second step that is like a recommendation for balance, and is like involve like the video from both the source and target culture to guide adaptation and ensure respectful like the treatment. And the third is like transparency. It's like in for the audience where when change has been made and why this helps maintain the integrity and invite a critical engagement. The third is like avoid reinforces stereotypes. It's like adaptation should not reinforce prejudice of erasing marginalized the identities and in the effort to make the context more like palatable. That's the word used to the like, in this case like to make more palatable, and that's using the stereotypes. And also they provide educational context instead of the heavy alteration. Is that prioritizes educational context, because sometimes it's better to provide explanation for footnotes rather than the alter the context, because education audience foster create understanding rather than the century to discomfort. That's the one that's the steps, all the steps together is a good recommendation for maintain the balance in this area of the consultation and and process. For the conclusion about the adaptations is should be a to culture without the compromising and integrity. Because adaptation is a powerful tool for connecting the culture around the world, but it's that must be handled with the care. To cultural adaptation should price the difference without sacrificing the original integrity of the measured product or history. To maintain this balance is essential and to act with respect, practice transparency about any changes and in like show like sensitive toward the cultural involved. By honoring these ethical principles, we ensure these adaptations and reach and understanding rather than distortion or dismissing the original text. So the balance is a achievement through respect, transference, and a cultural sensitive to create a cultural adaptation. No distortion, no dismissing of the context. Thank you so much, teacher.